Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Fintech News. Hope you're doing well. I'm your host, Nicholas Belvo. Today I have the pleasure of being with Cigar. How's it going?
Good, you?
Good. All right, so today in Fintech News, we have 4 topics we want to talk about. But first, a special announcement because this Thursday at noon, our Fintech certificate is going on sale. So we want to let you know if you're watching this, you're probably interested in Fintech. And our certificate program had rave reviews last year, so it's coming back in January 2020, and this Thursday, tickets go on sale. For the first 5 people who purchase their ticket, you'll benefit from 50% off. So for professionals, it's regularly $500. You'll be able to get it for only $250, and for students, it's $150. So make sure to mark that in your calendars if you're interested in participating in this year's, next year's 2020 certificate program, because those 5 tickets will go really, really fast. But then we'll still have early bird sales until November 1st. So you could still get it for $400 instead of $500 until November. But let's jump into it. Today we wanted to start off by chatting about PayPal that pulls out of Libra, the Office Québécois de la langue française that creates 100 new fintech words, Credit Karma's new saving account, and lastly, Innovate Financial Health that partners with Capital One. So it's funny that we're talking about Libra again, but now in, I guess, a negative way. We started Fintech News with the announcement of the creation of Libra,
Right, yeah.
and now PayPal is backing out.
Mm-hmm. It was expected to a certain extent because of all the obstacles and all the problems that Libra has been facing from everyone, more or less, especially the big political leaders. France and Germany explicitly mentioned that they will block Libra, if they come into the country or if they create a payments terminal. So I think PayPal senses that this project has more obstacles as compared to benefits as of now. So they pulled out, and let's see who's going to be next, because I expect more companies to pull out this project.
And how can a government block a currency from coming in? Is it just through their regulations and they're saying Facebook can't operate here?
Well, that could be one mechanism. They could block, just like certain countries block websites. They could block the transactions through Libra, because it will use some, I believe, Facebook and WhatsApp to a certain extent. So I do not know the details as to how that's possible, but I think just blocking the platform in itself, because one of the biggest value propositions for Libra is that it can be used through Facebook or WhatsApp in the beginning.
Right.
So those will be, I think, limited, the functionality there.
Okay, interesting. So we'll keep an eye out for that. In essence, it's a really interesting project.
Right,
so
yeah.
I'd like to see how it develops.
Yeah.
And
Even though even if it doesn't get off the ground, it leads to other projects maybe that are similar.
Sure.
And country specific. So it was a good initiative, and maybe it will go further. Let's see. But it clears the path for other similar projects, or maybe it makes them more difficult. Let's see what happens.
Cool. But speaking of that, of crypto and blockchain in general, back here in Quebec, the Office Québécois de la langue française introduced 100 words into its repertoire, so to speak. So, for example, chaîne de bloc is now a recognized terminology. They did this in partnership with l'École technologique supérieure, as well as the Autorité des marchés financiers. So now in Quebec, we're recognizing these words, and it just makes it more legitimate.
Yeah, and it makes it easier for entrepreneurs in blockchain in general, because
100%.
I remember a team from our first Ascension cohort. They were mostly Quebecois, and they spoke in French most of the time. But when it comes to blockchain, they had to switch to English, because they said that with blockchain, we are always reading in English or always talking about in English. So
yeah.
Probably that's something that the Quebec government or the organization noticed, and that's why they created those words. So it's pretty cool. They're solving a problem.
And it goes to show it's no longer just a fade or a buzzword. It's legitimized through this move, and it's just a great move for the industry in general in Quebec,
right,
to recognize it. Moving to San Francisco, Credit Karma opens a new savings account. Credit Karma, a really interesting company. You want to just run us through a bit about what they do?
So Credit Karma is free credit reporting. Their business model is that they pay companies like Equifax. They're based out of US, but the Canadian model is that they pay Equifax for free credit reports on a monthly basis. They also send you an email with, I don't know, Credit Karma, I'm with Borrowell, but what Borrowell sends an email every month to let you know if your credit score increased or decreased. I don't know if Credit Karma does that. But anyways, the business model is that they pay Equifax and they essentially act as a lead generator.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. If you go on their website, Credit Karma's website, you see that they offer free credit reporting, which
Right.
I found weird because I mostly know that Equifax does that. So what Cigar told me is that they actually pay Equifax. So for them, they're losing money every time somebody does a free report. But essentially, it's their lead generation tool. And that's one big thing in fintech. It's generally all about the marketing and that customer acquisition, which can be very expensive. And here, they're doing a play where they're just inferring the costs.
Right. It's especially in personal finance management, anything that's B2C, the customer acquisition cost is really high. We were having this conversation a couple of days ago, I think, when the hackathon started, as in banks pay you $300 just to open an account. And then you mentioned that $300 is not just the cost, it's delivering that message that $300 is available to you
100%.
when you open the account. Is so the cost for
The
customer
radio
acquisition,
ads, the newspaper ads, the
Right.
online ads, to just advertise that you're getting $300. So I'd be curious to see if companies like this, now it's offering a free credit report. Imagine they're paying you to do a credit report, right? So not only the customer
Right.
is getting money from that startup,
Yeah.
but plus they're paying Equifax as well. So it's a double cost for them.
it's a difficult business model, but they do have a valuation of $4 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's a valuation of $4 billion, so they are doing something right.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
And so this new savings account, it's new. So they have a credit card, I think. They have loans, and now this is their third offering, right?
Right. They have a lot of offerings. It was mostly in the lending space because you check your credit score and then Credit Karma knows about it. They store information. They don't store information, but they analyze their score and then they can recommend you product. So it makes kind of sense. But now they're moving into savings, into high yield accounts, which kind of points towards their intention to become maybe a proper full-fledged bank. Because Tangerine went through the same. It was called ING, Tangerine before.
ING Direct.
ING Direct, and they went through the same, not the completely similar channel, but they started with a savings account as well. And now
Right.
they're a normal bank. Not a normal bank, but still a full bank.
And lastly, what we want to talk about today was Innovate Financial Health. So they're an accelerator out of Toronto, and they are partnering with Capital One. So you want to tell us a bit about what they're all about and their personal finance. They're dedicated to personal finance.
Yeah. It's only, so they're a nonprofit like us, Fintech Agents, but their focus is only personal finance management. And it's interesting because the main theme of the hackathon this year is also personal finance
100%.
management.
Well, the Défi du Président of Desjardins
Right.
is about how to make financial health, more improve Canadians' financial health.
Right, to make them talk more about it, to actually take steps and actions to improve their personal financial health. And here we see Capital One collaborating with an institute that is focused only on personal finance management. So it kind of gives us an indication as to where the banks in Canada are heading.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see more players in the personal finance space in the coming years. Their model is they have $100,000 as of now, and they'll give $25,000 to 4 startups that are selected in the cohort that starts in January. They don't take any equity, and it's more about, again, the problem that they're solving as an institute is connecting with the banks and working with the professionals in the bank so that the products that are created can be easily integrated.
In the same mindset of open innovation that we're seeing at the
Exactly.
Co-op Marathon. So it's just interesting to see it's now becoming a national movement. More and more players are getting involved into personal finance. So Canadians, everybody watching should be happy. Everyone in Canada should, thanks to FinTech, have better financial health moving forward and more money in the bank accounts, better insurance, and better investments account as well.
Yeah, it leads to a healthier population in general. So
So that segues into my last point. Co-op Parathon, you could still register until this Friday at midnight. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it so far, but we already met some of the teams. They're still looking for people to join. So if you're interested, it's an awesome opportunity to get involved, to discover the world of personal finance management, and who knows, be accepted into our Ascension program in January, or discover this one by Innovate Financial Health. So that's wrapping up this Friday, so it's your last chance. And then lastly, what we want to mention is in 2 weeks from now is the biggest week in FinTech in Montreal, and maybe arguably even in Canada, probably in Canada. On October 21st, we kick off the Forum FinTech. So the Canadian FinTech Forum starts here at the Palais des Congrès on October 21st. Then the forum itself happens on the 22nd and the 23rd. And then on the 24th, we're hosting our second FinTech Drinks, where we'll be talking about tech fins and other sleeping giants. So in 2 weeks from now, a huge week in FinTech. We'll be live from the forum, bringing you all the action and all the learnings we have. But we hope to see you there. The kickoff party on the 21st is free. We just posted about it today, so we invite you to check that out and sign up. And we hope to see you there. So that's it from us. Have a great week, everyone, and make sure you tune in next Tuesday at 3:30 for another episode of FinTech News. See ya.